shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
And it's a little bit of a foggy start out there this morning. I'll show you what it will look like as you head out for your commute.
Lowering costs at the pump. President Trump is calling for the federal gas tax to be suspended. How the tax is used and what this could mean for you at the gas station. Risk of infection. At least one passenger on the ship where the hantavirus began is from North Carolina. Why local experts say the risk of it reaching our state remains low. A lot to dig into here on this Tuesday morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Renee Chu. It is 4:30. We're glad you're up with us. Let's get you started with the weather and get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with that dense fog advisory. Elizabeth.
Let's take a look at what's going on out there right now. This is a look at visibility, and we're down to half a mile in Roxborough and half a mile in Rocky Mount right now. We aren't seeing fog everywhere, but it is likely to increase as we get through the morning. Take a look at Pittsburgh. You can really see it here as you look past the courthouse, a good bit of fog there. It's also really chilly out there this morning, looking at 44 degrees in the Triangle, so I definitely came in my jacket. Watch out for some areas of dense fog up until around 8 or 9 o'clock this morning. You want to leave your bright lights off. You'll be able to actually see a little bit better. It's chilly in Roxborough and South Hill, 37 degrees, 42 in Rocky Mount, 45 in Southern Pines. So it's a whole lot colder than it was this time yesterday, anywhere from 10 to 25 degrees cooler as you head out the door this morning. It will warm up nicely this afternoon. We'll be almost 70 at lunchtime, and highs will climb into the mid-70s. Today stays dry, and so does the bulk of the day tomorrow, but overnight tomorrow night, we do have the potential for a front to come through with some showers and storms. We'll talk about the timeline and how much we could see. Renee?
Elizabeth, thank you. This morning, a push to lower gas prices. New data from AAA shows the average cost of gas in North Carolina is $4.15 a gallon. In Wake County, it's $4.26, and in Durham County, it's $4.27. Now, the president is suggesting that the federal gas tax be suspended. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from a gas station in Cary this morning to explain what this would mean for the prices that people pay at the pump. Kelsey, good morning.
Renee, good morning. The answer to that question about what it means is this could be quite complicated. The federal gas tax accounts for about 18 cents of the price that you see here at the pump. But if that tax is removed, it's still not clear how much drivers could save. President Trump is now calling to suspend the federal gas tax. Congressional approval is required to make that move happen. WRAL reached out to all North Carolina congressional lawmakers asking whether they'd support suspending the gas tax. None responded. A study on state gas tax holidays found that about 60 to 80% of the tax cut was actually felt at the pump. We spoke with drivers about how they feel about a possible federal tax cut.
Not really. No, it's going to have to be more than 18 cents. Not if it's going up every day.
Yeah, anything helps. It adds up over the course of the year. That's probably a couple $100 in the pocket.
Another big question here is if that tax is suspended, then what does that mean for the revenue it generates? Federal gas tax revenue is primarily used for major transportation projects across the country. So if the tax is suspended, that could affect progress on all those projects. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
New this morning, a Spanish passenger from the hantavirus-stricken cruise ship is the third person to test positive since the ship was evacuated. The Spanish health ministry says the person is in isolation at a hospital in Madrid after testing positive. A French woman who tested positive is in intensive care, according to the French Prime Minister. 18 Americans are at the University of Nebraska Medical Center's National Quarantine Unit. One of them is in a contamination unit after their positive test. The hantavirus outbreak killed 3 people on that cruise ship. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is monitoring the hantavirus outbreak. We now know one person from North Carolina was on board the ship and is being quarantined. WRAL's Adley Calabar joins us live from UNC Health in Raleigh. Allie, medical experts are saying it is highly unlikely for the virus to spread to the general public.
Yeah, and we spoke with the medical director of the Department of Disease Prevention, Infection Prevention here at UNC. And even though a passenger on board the ship is from North Carolina, he says that the likelihood of it reaching the state is low. Now, the virus may bring up memories of the COVID pandemic and social distancing. Medical experts from UNC say that shouldn't be the case with hantavirus. It's more deadly than COVID, but hantavirus does not spread as easily, and it is not airborne like COVID. Another difference, medical experts with UNC say we know the people who are exposed to the virus.
Unlike COVID-19, where by the time we realized that it existed, it had spread to hundreds or thousands of people. Here we know everyone who was on the boat. I think the risk to the public is minimal. And I think since we know the people who are exposed, we have the ability to completely protect our healthcare personnel.
And we have a full article on WRAL.com explaining hantavirus and how it impacts you. You can read more about it there. Reporting live in Raleigh, Allie Cathabar, WRAL News.
Allie, thank you. Today, a push in the state legislature to keep your taxes from going up. Lawmakers plan to discuss a proposed constitutional amendment meant to prevent big tax hikes. It's part of the legislature's broader efforts to tackle property taxes. The proposed changes would limit the ability of city and county governments to collect property taxes in the future. If approved, the proposal would be on the ballot for voters statewide to decide. Lawmakers are also expected to discuss a proposal to limit property tax exemptions for affordable housing projects. WRAL reported in March that Wake County is losing out on about $745 million a year in property tax revenue due to such exemptions. This morning, we'll get new information about how quickly the prices you pay are going up. The Consumer Price Index for April is due out at 8:30. The Department of Labor reported the cost of goods rose almost 1% from February to March. That's the largest increase in 4 years. Gas prices, by the way, drove up most of the increase. Today, a Wake County School Board committee is set to discuss new numbers on school building and renovation costs. The cost of schools construction is soaring, and that's putting pressure on school systems budgets and taxpayer wallets. Costs are up 40 to 50% since 2021, according to new data from the state and the Wake school system. WRAL Education insider Emily Walkenhorst says these costs are largely funded by property tax revenue.
There's some lottery funding that goes towards school construction in North Carolina, but a lot of what is funding school construction is actually coming from the counties themselves, so property taxes.
Today's meeting starts at 1 p.m. Tune in for updates on the education section of WRAL.com. This morning, an 18-year-old is facing charges in connection with last month's shooting at Triangle Town Center. Raleigh police say Marcus Neal opened fire inside the mall, injuring 3 people. He faces charges including assault with a deadly weapon, inflicting serious injury. Investigators have also filed juvenile petitions against 3 teens for misdemeanor rioting and misdemeanor assault. Raleigh Police Chief Rico Boyce says what stands out most is the age of these suspects.
We're seeing this trend of younger offenders committing serious offenses. So very thankful that we have the 18-year-old in custody, and we're holding those juveniles responsible on juvenile petitions.
We've asked Raleigh police how they were able to identify Neal and why it took nearly a month to charge him. As of this morning, we have not heard back. We are also working to learn more about the other teens police say were involved in the shooting. A man accused of shooting someone at a Durham restaurant on Mother's Day will remain in jail without bond. Samir Salian Al-Mahmoud is charged with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill. Police say he got into a fight with a co-worker at Silver Spoon restaurant and then shot a man who tried to step in. During yesterday's court appearance, the prosecutor said Al-Mahmoud told detectives at the scene that if he got out, he would, quote, finish the job. The victim is in critical condition. Today, Raleigh City Council will get new insight into the city's energy usage. In March, council members requested a report on energy usage and the city's efforts to mitigate costs and impacts. They are also expected to discuss information about data centers and management of the city's energy use related to AI usage. Today's meeting starts at 4. In just a few hours, tickets for the next Carolina Hurricanes playoff games go on sale. The Canes will host Games 1 and 2 of the Eastern Conference Final at Lenovo Center. Now, the Canes are awaiting who they're going to play for the conference final. They will play the winner of the series between Buffalo and Montreal. The Canes have yet to lose a game in the playoffs. They are the first NHL team in more than 40 years to win their first 8 games of the postseason. Conference final tickets go on sale at noon today. The dates for the games have not been set yet. Changing disaster response. Millions of dollars meant for Helene recovery could go elsewhere. The questions we're asking about a new bill that would affect future funds granted to the state. And a redistricting battle. The response from states after a Supreme Court ruling that weakened the Voting Rights Act, where some states are in the approval process.
Our next weather maker is this cold front that's back to the west. It arrives on Wednesday night. In the meantime, this high pressure system is sending us some chilly air as you walk out the door this morning. I'll show you what it will feel like. 444, we're taking a live look at Lewisburg this morning. You can see off in the distance over the Tar River, definitely some low cloud cover, a little bit of fog out there. And it's likely to get worse as we get through the morning. Typically, as our temperatures drop, it creates a lot more condensation in the atmosphere as we cool things down, squeezes the moisture out. So that tends to bring us the fog. And it's really chilly out there this morning. Temperatures will probably fall a little bit more between now and 7 and maybe even 6 a.m. 47 in Fayetteville, 44 Durham, 42 in Wilson and Rocky Mount. It's a lot cooler than it was this time yesterday. And taking a look at visibility, right now, Roxborough is at 1/4 of a mile. Rocky Mount's at 3/4 of a mile. We typically are looking at 1/4 of a mile for fog. Exercise forecast for this morning, definitely on the chilly side. Good running weather, you just may need a little extra layer, but it feels really comfortable by noon at nearly 70. We'll be in the mid-70s this afternoon. We have our eye on the next front that comes through late Wednesday. We'll talk about what you can expect.
Emergency management leaders are criticizing a plan that could redirect money set aside for Helene recovery. A top Republican lawmaker filed the bill that would overhaul who runs disaster response in North Carolina. It would move responsibility from emergency management to the state fire marshal. As part of the bill, nearly $5 million that was earmarked for local fire departments for Helene response could instead be spent anywhere the state fire marshal sees fit.
The bill appears to be trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist. North Carolina Emergency Management is the right agency.
WRAL asked the state fire marshal why the bill is needed and if the money is still going to Helene recovery and preparedness. The fire marshal said the funds would support disaster preparedness and emergency readiness. New developments in the nationwide redistricting saga. The Supreme Court says Alabama cannot use a new map that includes 2 black majority districts. The decision frees the state to use a map approved in 2023 by the Republican-led legislature that includes only black majority districts. This comes after the Supreme Court weakened the Voting Rights Act with the ruling on Louisiana's map. Justice Sonia Sotomayor was critical of the ruling on Alabama. She says it will create confusion ahead of an election next week. In Virginia, Democratic officials are asking the U.S. Supreme Court to reinstate their recently voter-approved map that benefits Democrats. This emergency appeal follows a ruling from the state Supreme Court that voids the map. The new map was approved by voters last month. It could help Democrats pick up as many as 4 more seats. President Donald Trump is honoring police officers from across the country as part of National Police Week. The president hosted his second Rose Garden Club dinner at the White House yesterday. There were leaders from several law enforcement organizations. President Trump thanked the nation's police officers for their sacrifice.
This week especially, our thoughts turn to the officers who gave their lives in the line of duty, to all of the incredible police officers, sheriffs, deputies, law enforcement officers, all law enforcement. We want to thank you.
He also went on to thank the work that the Secret Service does as Police Week is now underway. And giving you a live look at our WRAL tower this morning. It is lit up in blue as a tribute to fallen law enforcement. Members of the Raleigh Police Department, including their mounted patrol, came to the station last night to see the lighting in person. 4:48 now, and as we have some fog out there, also very chilly temperatures for May 12th. Elizabeth Gardner is tracking it all for us. And Elizabeth, looks foggy in Pittsburgh.
It does. We're not seeing a lot of fog on the cameras. Pittsburgh is one of the foggiest looking cameras that we're seeing right now. But just be on the lookout for some fog as you're headed out this morning. Fog is something that tends to come and go pretty quickly. And typically as we get closer to sunrise, we see more of it. So we'll keep track of it and keep checking back with us. Mid-40s right now in the Triangle. We're looking at temperatures climbing up to 70 by lunchtime. So it's just a chilly start to the day, and then we warm up nicely later this afternoon. Quarter-mile visibility in Rocky Mount and in Roxborough. Quarter-mile is typically the threshold where we're looking at fog. We take a look at temperatures. It's chilly, just 41 in Durham right now and 40 in Wake Forest, 41 in Clayton, 43 in Cary, 44 in Apex. So it's much colder than it was this time yesterday, anywhere from about 10 to around 20 degrees cooler. That's a big change in the morning. So I definitely came in my little puffy coat. I was happy about that. But it's a very nice afternoon in store. Mid-70s in the Triangle, looking at upper 70s this afternoon in Fayetteville, and lots of sunshine all day. Tomorrow will be a little bit warmer. A cold front comes in. Typically we see more of a southerly flow ahead of a front, so it'll warm us up to around 80. And then Wednesday night, we'll have the chance of some scattered storms. Behind the front, it's breezy and cooler on Thursday, but then temperatures ramp right back up on Saturday and Sunday, and that may start a much warmer trend. So looking at Thursday, 70, 77 on Friday, and then we're going to see a lot of warmth pushing in Saturday at 88 and then 92 on Sunday. So we have a big change in our forecast. We take a look at our temperature outlook, and that may last all the way through the next 10 days. Once we get past the weekend, it looks warmer than normal, a good bit warmer than normal. In terms of rain chances, they are few. Wednesday night, tomorrow night will be our best chance. Saturday, it's only a 20% chance, 20% chance again on Sunday. Coming up, we'll talk more about the timing for Wednesday night's front and how much rain we might see. Renee?
Elizabeth, thank you. New in streaming, a new kind of Fast and Furious is coming to Peacock. Plus, Reacher will return for another season. That and more just ahead in today's Hollywood Minute. A new Fast and Furious show is coming to Peacock. Plus, Reacher will be in for a 5th season. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
The Fast and Furious universe is expanding to streaming. Vin Diesel says Peacock is launching 4 Fast and Furious shows, though Variety and The Hollywood Reporter say only one is currently in active development. The 11th and supposedly final film in the $7 billion franchise, Fast Forever, is due in theaters in 2028.
Mr. Reacher, the record is impressive.
Prime Video certainly thinks so. The streamer has renewed Reacher for a 5th season before season 4 has even premiered. There are some 30 books in the Lee Child series that inspired the show starring Alan Ritchson, so there's plenty of source material. No word on a release date for season 4. The Nordic noir series Black Sands is back for a 2nd and final season. The thriller about revelations in a town with a dark history returns to the Viaplay streaming service Thursday. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The trial has begun for the man accused of stealing unreleased music by Beyoncé. Last July, Beyoncé's choreographer and one of her dancers said thieves broke into their SUV in a parking garage in Atlanta. The thieves stole electronic drives containing unreleased music, as well as plans for her show and past and future set lists. Police arrested the suspect in September. Netflix is also facing a new legal battle. Texas is suing the media company over surveillance and data concerns. The state's attorney general, Ken Paxton, is accusing the streaming service of spying on Texans and collecting users' data without their knowledge or consent. The lawsuit also accuses Netflix of being addictive. Netflix says the suit lacks merit and is based on inaccurate information. The company says it takes its members' privacy seriously. Chatham County is helping families feel safer around water this summer. The county is offering a free 2-part water confidence and safety class at Jordan Lake on May 27th and June 3rd. Classes are open to everyone 12 and older. The program will focus on basic water safety and confidence skills. The Wilson Warbirds are honoring first responders this weekend. Saturday night's game includes a special jersey giveaway for the first 1,500 fans through the gates. The replica home jerseys are part of the team's First Responders Night celebration, presented by Wilson Medical Center. Ahead at 5, lowering the price at the pump. The president wants the federal gas tax to be temporarily paused, the relief it may give you at the gas station. Increasing worker pay. Lawmakers are nearing a deal on pay raises for state employees. The issues they are running into as North Carolina still has no state budget.